Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? Yes, anonymous. I died when I was in Nigeria, like literally dying. I was so sick when I went to Nigeria, and I had been told that I had cancer, and I was resurrected by an occultic witch doctor. But the way that they do their things in Nigeria, their sangomas, they are very different from what we have here in South Africa. And I was given a cat. So this cat that was given to me, this was what I had brought with me from the land of the dead. That cat was the one that assisted me to start breathing again, for I had already died. Now this cat, it requires blood, and I have to sleep with madmen just to do rituals. Please keep me as anonymous. I was born in Durban, KZN, and right now I am 39 years old. But what I am about to confess to you, like, I have never told anyone else outside of my circle of friends. By circle of friends, I mean those that are spiritualist, those that are ritualist. I have never mentioned it to anyone that have never seen the things of the spirit. And I am here just to record my confession to you. I have done terrible things, not because I want to, but I have to do it. Otherwise, I will also lose my mind, just like the men that I bring to my house to sleep with them. I made a decision. This was in 2007. This was a financial decision that I took to sell my citizenship, to sell my country, to give my citizenship to a Nigerian man, and now I am suffering. So I just wish that people out there, they are going to understand where exactly am I coming from. It was back in 2007. I was unemployed, and I had just left a receptionist job. I was working in Phoenix at that time for this other Indian man who was very racist, and he just told me that he was not going to give me my salary for that month. The reason as to why, he had tried to propose love to me and I had refused, and he said that he was not going to pay me. I thought that it was a lie, but it turned out that it was nothing but the truth. This man, he did not give me my money. So I stopped working for that man. Then I was staying with my auntie. That was when I met this guy. My auntie was also working for a lot of Indian men. So she was working at this other hardware. I went to visit my auntie because she would switch. Sometimes she would work at the hardware. Sometimes she would go and clean at her boss's house, the Indian guy. So when I went there to her neighborhood, my auntie then told me to go and buy cold drink. And then I went to buy this cold drink at this other spaza shop that was owned by this other Indian man. Whilst I was there, that was when another Indian man stopped me and told me that he wanted to assist me if I was a South African. He wanted me to work for him. So I started working for him. About a week after I had started working as a maid, that was when he told me that he was looking for a poor South African. And I said, yeah, I am poor. If you want to give money to a poor South African, please give it to me. He then told me that he had this other Nigerian man that could enter into my life, that could change my life, will change everything. It started with a simple offer, which I agreed. My Indian boss said that since I was a South African and I was unmarried and I had never been married before, and he had already verified this because I had given him the photocopies of my ID, and they went to verify that indeed I was not married before I had even knew that I was going to get married to a Nigerian guy. So he told me that he had borrowed money from this Nigerian guy, the one that he had used to start his big supermarket, and he was failing to pay this Nigerian rich man his money. The guy was very rich. He was well connected. And the problem was that he was undocumented. He had no work permit, no refugee papers, no visa, nothing. All that he had was money. And then my boss said that all that he need is a wife. And I was like, how can I just agree to become someone's wife without falling in love? And he was like, not a real one, just someone to marry him on paper. And as for the payment, this was 15K cash upfront and a monthly wife allowance after that, like forever. This was 2007. In 2007, 15K was quite a lot. It was a big deal. The money that I was earning, I was only getting paid less than 700 and something. That was how much I was getting paid. And my auntie and my mother, they supported me. They said, at least you'll be married. They said, maybe you'll even fall in love with you. Besides, this money, it is a lot. And I had told my Indian boss that he was supposed to respect my culture. This man, he was supposed to pay my bride price. Otherwise, I was not going to agree. The man agreed, and he said that on top of that, he was going to give my father a baki that he can use. And indeed got married. Like, the guy paid the bride price for me, and we got married after I had been given the money. Like, I was still young. I thought that I had gotten what I wanted. I did not even know where Nigeria was on the map. So after the deal had been sealed, I then started staying with my mom. Life was really great. We would go shopping almost each and every day. Within a very short period of time, the money had run out. And the problem is that if you are someone that has been poor all of her life, then all of a sudden you start getting all of this money, and then the money runs out. You will feel as if you are a child that has been given a lollipop, and then after just licking the lollipop, it is taken away from you. I started communicating with this guy, asking for money. He told me that I was supposed to have some financial discipline because I would only get money only once each and every month. I said, okay, it is fine. So me and my mom, we would wait patiently throughout the month so that I can get my monthly salary. It was not enough. I kept on complaining to him. So that was when he said that I was too much to deal with. He just wanted me to come and stay close to where he was staying. He was staying in a gated community. And at that time, this guy, he was finishing up this other project. There was a mall where his construction company had gotten a big tender. The money that he was getting, it was a lot. He had a property in that same gated community. I moved in with my 2 kids. The house was massive. I had never been in such a big house. It had everything. We had a swimming pool, even went for swimming lessons, me and my kids, because I did not even had any clue on how to swim. High walls, a nice kitchen with imported appliances. My kids, they started going to private schools. I was then given a small car, the first car that I ever owned. It was a little silver Toyota Ranex. I did not even pay rent, and life was good. I did not even ask questions at all. So sometimes he would visit me and he will have to take pictures with us. I still remember during those days, he had a Samsung E250. He would be documenting our marriage. He would take pictures with me sitting on the couch in bed, but we would not touch or do anything with each other. We would laugh, eat, pretend. And I knew that he had a real wife that was in Nigeria. He told me that the wife was in Nigeria, and I did not even care. I was living good. I was his wife only on paper, until the day she came when I started to feel jealous. But I was feeling jealousy, but the guy was still taking care of me financially. The real wife arrived from Nigeria. When the Nigerian woman came, the wife, to South Africa, that was when I learned to keep quiet. I was crushed for the man. One day when I told him that I was feeling lonely, it was late at night, and he reminded me that even though I was his wife, but I was supposed to know my place. I was not supposed to call him when he was with his family. I was lonely because a guy that I had been dating had broken my heart, who was staying in the same estate as well. So I knew my place and I kept quiet. They started building a business empire together, trucks, clothing shops in Joburg, and they had everything. And I was just there with my fake marriage, enjoying my money. I started abusing alcohol quite a lot because I did not want to think much about it. Within a couple of years after they had acquired so much wealth, the wife mysteriously passed away. It did not even take a lot of years for this to happen. I don't even know what really happened, but all that I know is that my husband, he flew back to his country for 2 weeks. When he came back, that was when his wife had an accident, and then he told me that I was his wife now, and he forced me to move in with him. This was when his wife's grave was still fresh. I did not feel good about it, but I was happy, and at the same time I was not happy. We slept in the same bed that he used to sleep with his wife. We became physical. He paid for everything. It was a couple of years later, after I had two of my kids, because I had my child, and when my child was about 5 months, I fell pregnant again. So the kids that I have with my Nigerian husband, like, they look like twins because of the way that I had them. There was something off about him. There was this other day when I was drunk, like I told you, that with the heartbreak that I once had, I started to abuse alcohol quite a lot. It took me so many years in order for me to be okay again. So that was when one day I was drunk, but I knew what I was doing. I was walking upstairs from the kitchen holding a small basket of laundry. Then on the couch, there it was, a big fat black snake. It was there. It was not moving, no sound. I froze and I dropped everything and I screamed. But when my husband came running, it was gone. He did not act shocked. He just said, "Your eyes are playing games with you, my love." From that day, my life became a nightmare. My legs, they started swelling as if I had cancer. Some days my face would swell. My breast became heavy and painful. Doctors could not even explain what was wrong with me. I was dying. That was when my husband said that we were supposed to go to Nigeria to see a famous prophet. There was this other prophet that everyone knew, and we went to Nigeria. When we went to Nigeria, and I thought that the man was going to pray for me, but he delayed. We landed in Lagos. We stayed many days in a flashy hotel. And then that was when he said that since the prophet, the famous prophet, was not attending to us in time, and I was sick, really sick, he wanted us to try other things. And this was the reason as to why he had gone with me to Nigeria. He only lied and told me that he had a relationship with that famous prophet simply because he wanted me to agree to go with him to Nigeria. We drove in the bush for a very long time until we were in the middle of nowhere. I still do not know the name of the place that he took me. It was muddy, always raining, and the place was in the middle of the forest. We arrived there by 4 p.m. They took me to a village where there was not even phone signal. That's where I was left. I stayed around with this other old woman who didn't even speak, like she was disabled. She could not talk. Every day I was bathed in red water. Chickens were killed. I vomited blood. I lost my hair. I fainted one night. That was the last thing that I remember. I am told that I died. For how long, he refused to tell me. I don't know. They said that I was buried in the soil of that village, and after a couple of days my husband came with some of the voodoo priests, and they did rituals to wake me up. I do not remember anything. I don't remember, but when I woke up, I found out that I was back in the hut. The first thing that I felt was hunger, terrible. I was starving, and then I saw that there was a cat that was sitting on my chest. It was a black cat that was looking at me. The old woman gave me blood to drink, and I recovered. We came back to South Africa. I was different. The thing that I noticed was that I could hear my mom's thoughts. I would dream of snakes and I would wake up sometimes outside until my husband told me the truth. He said that I was part of his occult club. They had to initiate me to save my life, and I was part of the occult club, and I died and I came back, and the cat was the one that brought me back to life. He then later left for America. He said that he was going to expand his business in America. He has never came back, but we are still married on paper. We do call each other a lot now that we know that we are both from the same occultic club. Even if I call him and if I see that he is with a woman, I really do not mind. And on my side, even if he knows that I am dating another guy, he does not mind. Like, we are close to each other like that in the spirit. So I still have that same cat, and there are rules that I have to follow. I have to feed it blood with chicken blood, and each and every 3 months I have to sleep with a madman. They say those madmen, those homeless, mentally disturbed people, they carry a form of wild spiritual luck. So I have to go and get them in town, and then I take them to my place where I sleep with them with the assistance of the cat. When I go out to look for a madman, I'll be having this cat in my car. So this is what happened, all because I just wanted money. My advice is, do not marry strangers for money. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Yo.